Hi, I'm Joey. I'm here at the Folsom Street Fair today, and we're asking, how do you identify yourself as either male or female?
Could be masculine in a dress. It's all about your mindset and who you are as a person. And I feel like it's completely
energy
defined
that when I touch base with myself, it just kind of comes forth, and I identify with this sort of energy within myself.
Is it conditioning?
It would certainly have been great if I had been either born with a body that matched my gender identity or to have been born with a gender identity that matched my body. It would have solved a lot of problems. It certainly presented challenges living in a time when, you know, gender is just barely starting to get onto the radar. Even for those that do have gender identities that match their body or that they feel comfortable with, you still have all of these outside pressures from society to make it acceptable unless you fit this this model.
The moment of discovery came, I'm trying to remember, I think it was 11 or 12, and I fell asleep. I fell asleep with some of my mom's, one of my mom's nighties on, and she didn't have her key and came banging on my bedroom window, let me in, and so I got up and was kind of sleepy and didn't really realize that I still had her nightgown on, and I opened the front door. And I'll never forget the look on her face. For me, my feeling is transsexual, transgender, in a way they're very related, because it's all about expressing yourself and who you are and how you feel.
Well, luckily my biology matches what I identify as, and I just really embrace like the feminine side of femininity.
Well, I have a penis, so that categorizes me as being male.
I identify myself as female. I've identified myself that way from an early age, and so the transition came in my teens when I learned how to become a woman on the outside. So I identify it that way as more of a mental thing for me.
Well, yeah, I think it goes back to like the elementary definition of male or female, your genitalia. And for me, not only that, but I enjoy being masculine. Facial hair, body hair, all those things are something that I identify as male and that I enjoy.
I identify as male. I'm a female to male transsexual, but I live my day-to-day life as a man. I have dated both men and women. Right now I'm in a relationship with a man. Beautiful. Yeah.
I never really hid it from anybody that, like all the women I dated, I told them pretty much right away. I try to kind of come out and say, hey, you know, I cross-dress. And of all the women that I told, my wife was probably the best that took it. With her, I felt free to kind of come out of my shell a little bit and drop that boy suit. I never really kind of came out to my son when he was growing up. I didn't want to have any kind of like stigma put on who I am or who his father was. I tried to maintain somewhat of a male role for him, just sort of be myself in a lot of ways.
My first experience with any sort of gender-related exploration had to do with gender performance, and that was in the 5th grade when I started to realize that there was a little more to my problem of wearing dresses. I had never been comfortable wearing any of the typical female clothing. You know, you're expected to dress up a little bit and clearly define your gender category.
There are 4 main categories that make up gender identity: gender, orientation, sex, and expression. Gender is who you feel you are in your head. Orientation is who you are attracted to. Sex is what physical attributes you have. Expression is your outer appearance. For example, what we as a society would deem to be a normal gender identity would look something like this. An individual who considers himself a man, likes women, has a penis, and dresses in masculine attire. Let's look at another example. For an individual who's homosexual, their combination might look something like this. This individual also considers himself a man, but he likes men. He too has a penis. An expression can either be masculine or feminine. With the transgender individual, the case is very different. Let's look at one final example. You have an individual who is biologically a woman, considers themselves to be a man, loves both men and women, has a vagina, and dresses in both masculine and feminine clothes. Each of the 4 categories are essential in making up an individual's gender identity. None of the categories are just in black and white. These categories can come in any combination, and the variations are endless.
Well, I think anybody that's different tends to stand out, and in some respects are threatening when we don't know anything about something. You know, there's a lot of things that come up about that. But I think a lot of it, too, is just misinformation that gets put on people and a lot of prejudice. Prejudice in the form of assumptions, you know. A specific instance, I showed up for a rally, and there was someone there that had a hard time with people like me. We had a bit of a confrontation, and he was coming at me with words, and he wouldn't stop. It feels really terrible. The hate comes out, the anger comes out, but mostly what happens is I get afraid and I want to leave. And this particular time, I chose to stick around.
The video has gone viral, so the attack and what's possibly behind it are only now just coming to light.
Well, the victim of that savage attack says it was definitely a hate crime, and she's threatening to sue McDonald's and the half-dozen other employees who stood by and watched and did nothing to help her.
People who were like me and who are like me, it's a shame they have to go outside every day wondering if they're going to get hurt or if they're going to get robbed or raped. They just sat there and watched it, and there was at least 6 employees there watching it, rooting for the girls to hurt me.
Well, this particular event went on for many days, and 9 days into it, I was serving food in the food line, and that gentleman came up to me and asked for forgiveness. And he apologized for his reaction, and he said, "I'm learning."
Everybody's journey is different. The way that we test the boundaries, you can kind of think of it as like a line in a campground, right? There's kind of like the female campground for, you know, where your gender identity falls, and there's kind of a more male side of the campground, and you know, some kids will, or individuals will cross the line over to the other campsite and maybe hang out there for a little while, explore those you know, gender expressions and things associated with that territory, and then some decide to make camp there, some decide that they'll go back, and you know, it's just about feeling it out and trying what works best. And so
I am. I'm very happy. I'm really happy with the choice I've made to come out and be who I am. I mean, there's individual choices I wish I would have done differently, but, you know, we all have those relationships, you know, we all have those sort of experiences, but on the whole, I'm very content, and honestly, I wouldn't change a thing, because it makes me who I am.
Gotta go. No, I don't think that's ours. You don't get off that easy.
Yeah, man. So, okay. What I really do expect is just to learn a lot from this different community that we have here in San Francisco. You know, I've learned about different communities, but this one, it's like, it's just as any other place. It doesn't discriminate. You know, it can happen to anybody, your parents or whatever, anybody that you know around you. That's why I'll learn more about the topic. And so when I do meet someone of that stature, that I'm not going to be so discriminate or feel uneasy about them, you know?
Yeah. Right. So if you go higher, I look thinner. No, just kidding.
So the question is, what do I personally expect to find from doing this documentary? I think for me, I expect to find that we will experience people that come from a wide variety of backgrounds, and there's going to be a large spectrum of sexual identities and what people believe about themselves and how they relate to the world sexually. So I think we're just going to find that there's no cookie cutter personality or no cookie cutter version of sexuality. So that's what I think we're going to find. And that's it.
I can't look in the camera. Are you rolling?
Yeah, we're rolling. Well, I just wanted 5 seconds into it.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this is my first time really exploring this topic. So as far as what I expect to get out of it, I don't really have any expectations. I expect to learn a lot, but I'm just trying to stay open-minded and, have a good time and, treat the subject with as much respect as any other subject, if not more. So, yeah, woohoo! Go team!
So we all have different ways of experimenting with that and trying to figure out what's right for us. And there is a huge amount of confusion with that because of the gender signals that we receive, daily from our culture, and also from our herd instinct, for lack of a better word. I mean, we are being influenced by very deep psychological throws that are, it's very important that we not get kicked out of society, that, that we, as social animals, have a place to be, and if we cross those gender lines, we've been taught that we'll be sent away and the wolves will get us, or I don't know, whatever. It's whatever goes on, however you want to think about it, but it's terrifying to challenge something like the gender lines.